Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Monday morning, and I got an email this morning that was disturbing. It was disturbing, and probably not for the reasons you might think. But it was a woman that has been following this whole thing and that's concerned about her country, and very articulate, and seemed very intelligent, but just got to the point where she says, and I don't know what to do. I'm afraid we're losing our country. And all right, so I started thinking, well, what do you say? What do you say to a person? How do you get them to the point where there's something that they can do? And I think everything was lined up for me to know what to say, and that's why I'm making this video. Is because it's really clear to me. Some of these principles are very clear to people who are servants, who have served their country maybe, or served others. But I saw a movie Friday night, and it was American Sniper, and it was about a man named Chris Kyle, and he decided that he wanted to be a Navy SEAL, and he was, and then he did 4 tours in Iraq, and you know, his life and times. I guess he's most known as America's most lethal sniper. But that's not what I saw in him. I saw, you know, a courageous warrior. It just so happens that his job was sniper, and he was good at it. And he was good at it because he put himself in harm's way, and he ran at danger. And that's why he got the most confirmed kills with a rifle. All right, well, in the beginning of that movie, and of course now Hollywood is going to criticize him in his life. He's passed now. He was murdered by a guy that he was trying to help, actually. That's how the story goes, and I don't know. But he's gone now, and he can't defend himself, but I'm going to defend him. They're going to make fun of what he did as somehow cowardice, and there was nothing cowardly about that guy. But at the beginning of the movie, this was the most important part as far as I was concerned. None of you are going to get behind a sniper rifle, I'm sure. None of you are going to join up and become SEALs and defend our great nation. Probably not many of you. But at the beginning, his father was counseling him and his younger brother, and he said, you know what, there's 3 types of people in this world. There's wolves, there's sheep, and there's sheepdogs. And he explained it briefly, but I would like to expound on that a little bit, because I happen to know about that very, very firsthand, right? And I believe that's absolutely true, and as you will see, Chris Kyle was absolutely a sheepdog. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And he was a very effective and ravenous sheepdog. But the 3 types of people are wolves, sheep, and sheepdogs. Wolves, opportunistic, lie, cheat, steal, psychopathic. They have no empathy for anybody else. And usually they find themselves in positions where they can, you know, do their thing. And usually they're pretty good at it. And what turns them on is not the same things that turn on a sheepdog, who his function in life is to protect. So that's what a wolf is. And I'm not going to assign handles to anybody in this struggle that we're going through. But I think you will figure it out, you know. And then we have sheep. Sheep really don't have a choice. They're just born that way. And most of the time, sheep are glad that they don't get taken by the wolf, but they're not willing to stand up against the wolf. It's just not in them. They're generally peaceful. They want to just graze and be left alone and, you know, have their life. And that's how most Americans are, you know. They're not confrontational. They don't take it as a great affront when there are wolves amongst us that are preying on the sheep. And when you think about it, without the sheep, the wolves wouldn't even exist. They wouldn't exist. And then you have the sheepdogs. And the sheepdogs are the ones that kind of look like a wolf, but they have sympathy for the sheep. They would never hurt a sheep, never. They constantly patrol. They sniff the wind. They bark occasionally. And if a wolf comes close, they attack it. They're not afraid of the wolves. As a matter of fact, they look forward to going after the wolves. They look forward to that day. There was an example given about that man that was on one of the airplanes that crashed in, during 9/11, that crashed in Pennsylvania. And I guess he could have sat there with the rest of the sheep and just gone to his death, but he said, no, let's roll, and went towards the front of the airplane, and did what they did, and the plane didn't crash into a population center, it just crashed into a field. But he was definitely a sheepdog. All right, now this is what I would counsel this woman. I got a sheepdog right here that's coming close to me. We use sheepdogs. We use Great Pyrenees. The sheepdog runs towards danger. It's just how they are. But the difference between sheep, the animals, and sheeple people is the sheeple people can change. They can make a willful decision to look into the face of the wolf. And step by step, they become sheepdogs. So I can't tell you specifically what you must do, to thwart these wolves. I can't. That's something that you have to figure out on your own. Like our dogs, we don't teach them to do what they do. It's instinctive. And I think you find that in a lot of born warriors is, they can hide their head in the sand, and they could just let the waves blow over them, but they don't. It just keeps them up at night, figuring out how they're going to get the wolves and hunt the wolves down and not allow the wolves to pester the herd and take any more innocent lives. Our country, we've become predominantly sheep, right? And the sheepdogs are put down. They're ostracized for their ways. But then when things go bad, those sheep will gather behind those sheepdogs. They will, to protect them from the wolves. And I think you can see that all around you. So I'm not going to talk about specifics. I don't need to. You can all figure that out in your mind. But if you want to be part of the solution, become a sheepdog. And for more information on this, just go ahead and Google the whole thing about wolves, sheep, and sheepdogs. There's lots of stuff that's written about it. I heard it in a military motivational speech one time, and it was good for me because then I realized who I was. I mean, I was made this way. I didn't have a choice. I didn't decide to be a sheepdog. I was just made this way. So, okay, do that. Become a sheepdog.